So I will make the initial statement. If familiarity trap is a universal phenomenon with human being because of their intelligence and intellect, one, two, because it is a survival assisting tool. If every time you have to look at the details and then only you can move forward, it is a very difficult life. So naturally the system is getting an advantage out of the familiarity also. Familiarity trap also, okay? Got it clearly?
Yes, sir.
Third, the problem is if you take familiar things are taken for granted. Okay. If familiar things are taken for granted and if that is the training of the mind setting, then the most likely familiar thing is what?
Your breath.
Of course, you yourself, which people are just not aware. Even when they get irritated and angry and aggressive when their whatever ego is intimidated or when somebody comments on them, actually they are all terrible victims of familiarity trap. In the sense that, like Sarah said in the beginning, on the planet Earth, human entities are the greatest with 90 trillion whatever number of neurons in the brain with great sensitivities and the so-called wonders of the mind and all that. To what extent human beings are progressing? We still are bewildered by the wonders of the mystics like Patanjali's or Krishna's or Buddha's or Jesus or at the highest level or at the very, very low level, I would say, Albert Einstein or Tagore or Wordsworth or Newton or Ramanujan or things like that. And we are all just observing them with wonders and feeling nobody about us. See, that is not correct. Because every tradition, all the mystics, all the thinking individuals, all the philosophers unanimously declare that human beings are the greatest being. Then you look at how many human beings in the world are really reaching their greatness. Okay, many of them may not be well known, etc., etc. It is not about Nobel Prize or anything. Because of the familiarity trap. That means the most familiar, 24 hours, every millisecond, the you is available before your attention. And you should have the confidence to look at you as a separate entity and feel trusting you, which especially in this, I am very sorry to say, in this stupid India, especially, the modern India, we Indians are, I would say, thoroughly incapable of trusting them, believing in them and having confidence in them. The Indian culture and tradition just do not allow that. We are all supposed to feel LOW, low, before the high, before the higher caste, before the higher economic status, before the high positions, before the whatever it is. That is the tragedy of India. And we are all Indians. So we have that native inability to look at ourselves as the most wonderful being. Even in our secret moment of entering into sleep, we don't have the confidence to believe that I am a wonderful human being. We are all conditioned to attach many third world country defined paraphernalia. Do I have that much of bank balance? Do I have that much of a job? Do I have that much of a fame? Do I have that much of a this thing, that thing? Then only we are ready to feel good about ourselves. I would say any average American is feeling fully confident about them. Any average Britisher is feeling fully confident about them. But even a superior human being in India finds it hard to believe, absolutely trusting oneself. And we are fighting against that. Our self-perceptions are completely based on public acceptance and recognition, on educational degree and other remote controlled signals. And above all, the natural problem of the familiarity trap. Because the way you are familiar with you is based on your background experiences. Your education, what other people behaved to you, what other people told you, the way other people relate to you. That is your self-concept. With that only you are familiar. And that is your trap. Even when you pray in your church or mosque or temple that you are in the form of the God, you just don't believe that because you are more familiar with the available you. That is the familiarity trap which I am referring to. Right now, Tintin is narrating a beautiful incident showing his absolute attention to details. He just saw what you call a security guard. Nobody, I would say, of his level, especially he is heading team and almost number one in the India, whatever of multinational company. I don't think an average Indian would not even look at a security guard. I have seen that. And not even an average Indian. 90% of the Indians even do not look at the security guard. You looked at him, and in that you saw him reading a book. You saw that it was an old book. You saw that that book was having diagrams of electronic circuits. Okay,
Yes, sir.
brilliant. Come on. What else?
So I asked him, was he learning any fireman's advanced course? Because that's what I've seen as another natural gradation for people who are ambitious.
And that means what?
Which means I was looking at an available data which I
No. That is what I said. A genius is aware of, a genius would, I would say, the most arrogant person, let us say so. In fact, it is written openly in the book of Sam Pitroda. He says, I am very arrogant. A genius is very likely to be very arrogant, but not aggressive. But he would not insult, intimidate, humiliate anybody. That's a different issue. Secretly arrogant. So, what did you do there? You stopped at him, okay? Then only you could talk to him.
I didn't understand, sir.
No, you were about to go from the office, right? You saw the security guard with that book, and then you paused there. You stopped there to talk to him.
Yes, sir.
And that you should have said. I stopped and then I asked him. Because every language that you use to other people or to you, it's all reinforcing the you. Every moment is recorded in the neuronal system. So when you report, you have to say that. Then I stopped there, I turned to him and I asked him, that's what you did. Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah, say that. And in saying that, you should have a feeling about you. You are taking you for granted as if you are your own. You are not able to appreciate your beauty. You have to appreciate your beauty. Don't feel embarrassed about that. You are not going to publicly declare that I am a genius, I am wonderful. Because that is the secret agreement between your consciousness and the entity of you. Don't deny that. I am doing that. And I have analyzed the biography of everyone. I have interviewed, I told you, what Jesus said, I am the way and the truth. Who was Jesus? Now the world is celebrating. Who was he when he was alive? A bloody nobody. Okay? And he said, I am the way and the truth. And you, every one of you should say that to yourself. I am making all these languages in the background of self being taken for granted by everyone. Self meaning your body. Your body, of course, you take care of it. Otherwise, you will be ill. And even despite you are taking care of it, you go ill. That's a different story. What do you take care of your body? It's cosmetics. It's external appearance. Because that's what you are told. So I stopped there and asked him, come on, proceed and let us do it as a case study, come on.
Yes, sir. And he said, no, sir, I'm studying for engineering.
Oh, wow, all right. Then?
So he had to drop out due to personal reasons. And
No. You have to report this in a different, that you came to know because you asked him.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes.
You see, I am identifying your specialty. You have to identify your specialty. Have the confidence to do that. Okay, all right.
So I interviewed him about what he was doing. Why did he come to such a pass? What was the reason? And what is his future plans, etc.
Etc. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. So, what are the good points in that? Come on, tell me. In the total episode, total case study you mentioned, what are the good points? Come on, talk. What are the great points? Are you able to?
So the
One.
would I walk by?
One. No. One. As you saw him, you stopped at him. You looked at him. You observed him. 1, 2.
I noticed what he was doing out of the ordinary.
All right. Okay. 3.
Inquired about it.
All right. 4.
Encouraged him.
Oh, I see. 5.
This
Alright.
time when I'm going back,
Uh-huh.
I'm planning to give him a photo of us together.
Oh, brilliant Indian.
And ask him to call me when he completes his degree.
Oh, beautiful. And you should have, because you see, what do? We are all glorifying what Jesus did. We are all glorifying what Buddha did. We are all glorifying what Krishna did. Okay. The writers of their histories narrate all the so-called miracles. Do you think Jesus did only those miracles, nothing else? There were many other doings only. Only to position Jesus in the images of the majority mindset of stupidity, they narrated some great miracles, that's all. And people are all waiting for those kind of miracles to be performed by them so that they can see their greatness in them. How can an ordinary person working in a government office or in a private office or wandering on the road can feel great about him or her when greatness are defined by the descriptions about the so-called great people? Get the point? That's what every one of you should be doing. When you come across another guy who comes to you for guidance or counseling or mentoring or whatever it is your responsibility to identify whatever traces of that person's wonder and give a feedback to that person. Okay? Ding, ding. Yeah. And you should do that to you too. Do not take you for granted. You have all the right to do that. You have all the right to appreciate you. You have all the right to glorify you. And you have all the right to deify you. To be an enlightened entity. That's what the mystics have done. What are you waiting for? Would you like to live and die like millions and millions of other human beings in the history of the world? Who are all taken for granted by their parents, by themselves, by their neighbors, by their teachers, by their friends, by the society. Okay? And by their own bloody religions, who wanted them to bow down and surrender and be afraid of their so-called gods. Okay? And just be a nobody. Just be a nobody before the very God. That is what is glorified. That's what is glorified. Okay? A beautiful event you narrated, and you noticed it, and I appreciate you for choosing that statement. I am sure you noticed, at least by a split second, you noticed the difference of that, and that you are reporting now. Tintin maintained that. Observe not only people, observe events and episodes and everything around, and ask a question to everything around. even to a falling stone before you. Alright, okay, come on. That's enough. Next. Remember that when Tintin says something and I am talking to you, it is not to him, it is to everyone. When Vinay is saying something, then I am feedback dependent. Sorry, I have to give feedback. It is not to Vinay or Arjun or Sara alone. Okay, all right. Come on. Topic is self and the familiarity trap. To what extent you have taken you for granted? Come on. Or to what extent you consider yourself special? Come on, let's begin like that. That would be easy, I suppose. In which way you are special? Come on, be bold enough to say that. Come on. I have asked this question to at least 5,000 people, including managers, senior managers, and of course to so-called management entrance students during the interviews and even in the class. Very rarely I got a real confident response. Of course, when I persist, somebody would say I sing, I play guitar, or I play harmonium, or I write, or I do painting. Okay, good. Come on. In this group, it is very important. Come on. Are you a victim of taken for granted attitude about the you? What do you think by speciality? Which way you have taken for granted the concept of speciality or uniqueness? Everybody says, I am unique. I am unique, especially today. What is uniqueness? What is your uniqueness? So I think better to think what is a speciality. Or what all specialities, or what all expressions or responses or behaviors or ways of relating to people, etc., that you consider special about you. Come on.
So I may say something. I
Do
can
it.
float on my back, not swimming, but just float on my back and then save the energy. Like I can go quite length without much effort.
Yeah, say it clearly once again. Point number 1. Once again.
I said it's not swimming, but I can float on my back and with a little pedaling with the hand or leg, and even if there is current or if there is longer distance to go, I can cover the distance without swimming. And if I actually swim, I may drown. But if I'm floating, I can just go.
All right, good. All right. By the way, let me ask you, when you said that you felt a little bit of an embarrassment, am I right? That's why you smiled a lot.
Yes,
You are not able to complete the statements properly because there was an unconscious doubt whether I can say this.
It's a very simple thing, I thought, but
Yeah.
I've asked many people, they can't do that. So then I thought okay.
All right.
Can I say something?
Wait, just a minute. Okay, that's what I said, Nitya. That of course is something special and many people cannot do it, no doubt about that. Maybe at least 97% of the people by normal distribution cannot do it. That is of course special. But there are other things are also special about things that you have not identified. Right now Tintin said an incident. Okay. Similarly. Alright. Okay, think about that. You have to say at least 3 specialties of you. 1. Okay. But do not wait for the so-called special which nobody else can do. That of course you can mention. You have every right to mention that. Alright. Okay. Alright, Tintin, come on.
So I was saying, I just came from swimming about half an hour back, and you are able to float on water. There is a competency which means you've mastered that element. You're not only able to travel in that element, you're able to take rest in that. And like sir said, most people can't do that. So I think that's something which is quite advanced. You can maybe cross a small stream or even a bigger stream, but not everybody can without this competence. This is
Okay,
necessary.
all right. Now, okay,
It's unique.
Nitya, when you say that what has happened to you? What was your, what is the special, what is that precise aspect that developed in you? Can you say that?
I don't get panic.
One, two.
Two is I have that balance. I think some
Exactly,
kind of
that's the
balance.
number one. You have got that much of tuning with every movement of your body. That's the number one. Of course, number two, you don't get into panic. You are able to maintain your peace, your coolness, to try that and to maintain that, despite the possibility of many other infiltrating thoughts. Okay, good. All right. Three.
I feel I save energy in that action.
Yeah, that is of
It
course.
does. It's effortless effort.
All right. Oh, beautiful. All right. All right. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Come on.
Is that balance achieved through a perfect breathing style or something?
Nothing. Like just a simple movement with the
No, no, no,
hand.
wait, no, 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 wait. You have
I
taken, no, wait, Nitya, you have taken the question of Parvati for granted.
Not while swimming. Normally also.
No, 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 no,
Maybe
no.
your breathing style may be
No, no,
different.
that
Expression
Nitya
of
may
body
not have
language.
identified or the coach. She has achieved a perfect balancing of her respiration. That was the question. But Nitya was not able to identify that. That also is required. What? Perhaps Nitya would have identified that, provided you had not taken the question of Parvati for granted. Without reflection, without the so-called thinking which you said, you just gave an answer. It is not at all possible. It is impossible with a normal coarse breathing, C-O-A-R-S-E, coarse breathing, it is impossible. Yeah. And so this is the evidence, do not take any dialogue of the other person for granted. It may look an ever asked kind of question, it may look a special question, then you may attend. Then you will be forced to focus attention on that. When you arrive at that state of do not take anything for granted, meaning anything. It could be a dialogue of the other person, it could be a question of the other person, it could be a statement of the other person. Okay? It is not about special events. Special events, mostly people do not take it for granted. That is not because of their quality, it is because of the design and power of the situation they have come across. All right. Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Let us not go into these details. Okay, come on. Yeah. Next. Yeah. What is your specialty? Okay, Tintin, come on. What is your specialty? Because you both are talking. Come on.
Sorry, sir.
What is your specialty? Or what all are your specialities? This is a different question. That means, indirectly it means what all things you have taken for granted about you. You are waiting to see your wonder. When are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Oh, that's another question. What are you waiting for to feel your wonder? Nobel Prize? World record of likes in your Instagram or Facebook or whatever? Appreciation from the CEO? What are you waiting for? How long? Okay, you get a letter from the CEO that you are the most wonderful employee. There's a party. Okay, finished. Okay, after 4 or 5 days it is over.
I'm able to connect with people,
All right. Okay. Good.
and I've done that wherever I've gone.
Yes. Okay. Good. Yes, I know that also. Okay. Can you use some other word to connect with people? In which way you connect with people? Can you
Able to
explain?
form relationships which last for a lifetime.
How do you do that?
Mainly because I'm
or
interested in them.
or maybe or if you want to guide somebody to be like that, and do you think it is something good about you? Of course. If you want to train that kind of an attribute or a characteristic or a competence in someone, what all guidance you will give to that person? How to do that? Now wait, it may not be that easy to tell now. See, okay, what you said is true, but you do not know how you do that. Exactly. That is your nature. That means your nature, even when it is good, you do not understand it properly. You do not feel really good about it. Your greatness is not revealed to you. You have not observed you, for example. The number one entity you have to observe in the whole world is the you. Okay? Why you do not observe you? Why do you not focus attention to the details of you? Why you do not think about your wonders? Because you have taken you for granted, that's all. That's the community training, that's the social training, that's the cultural training, that's the government training, that's the religious training. Learn and understand the details about the God, what is happening in the world. A great lot of people know about Jesus and Krishna and Buddha and religions and all those details, Bhagavad Gita and Quran and Bible and all that. What happened? What happening? What is going on in the world? See, these are the truths. You have to talk like this. You have to train other people to understand their greatness, making them capable of trusting that. So, observe you. That's how you evolve. You know, there was a system of every day when in the past teachers would ask the students to write a diary every day about your thoughts, about your experience. That is a wonderful thing. Now that is taken for granted and it is not there. Writing about what they saw, what they thought, what they have undergone, etc. daily, every day for 1 or 2 months. You try that, you will see the wonders you are writing on your book. In that doing, you are actually recognizing you. Your unconscious process are getting an estimate, an assessment, a feeling about the you in you. And that is now denied by the stupid idiots who are planning the education process of today, all over the world. You see, we are all victims of the taken for granted attitude of the governments or the administrators or the whichever institutions who are controlling our lives, which you are not aware of. You studied certain subjects because they were available. You studied certain subjects because they would get you a job. How many subjects, how many new topics you have learned on your own choice? How many subjects or activities or doings you have fallen in love with by your own decision and action? Of course, many of you have done that. I told you I am talking not only to you, I am talking to the world. Though I am sure nobody else in the world would hear what I say. I don't care whether the world listens to me or even whether you listen to me. I want to do justice to my understanding about what I want to talk. Because I am responsible to me. I am sensitive to me. I respect every thought that occurs to me. Me meaning what? I am not I am not me. There are all words I used to refer to this wonderful engine that is carrying this fresh blood-born entity that is doing what that intent of my consciousness is wanting. Though it is too a product of this entity, but it has certain autonomy. Yourself, that will, the you in you, that I in you has its autonomy. Though it is driven by the engines of the body. Utilize that autonomy. Like the autonomous status of universities. Alright, okay.
It's 22:30.
Yeah, anybody else? Come on. Yes, Christopher, come on. You can start with anything. What is your understanding about self and the familiarity trap? What does it imply? That means the so-called familiarity trap, whatever we name by the word familiarity trap or by related words, to what extent your own self meaning your activities, your doings, your knowings, your specialities, everything taken for granted, like you take anybody else on the road for granted. Either you say what all things you are considering yourself as having specialities, or what all things by which you take yourself for granted. Yeah. Yes, Christabel.
So nothing is really coming to mind just yet.
But
There are some things, but
But you understand what is familiarity trap, right?
yes, sir. I just about what is special to me. What are my familiarity traps is what I was trying to
Okay, all right.
think of.
Sir, meanwhile, can I just say one statement which
All
just struck me?
right. Okay.
It's somehow easier to talk about competencies and specialities of others than about yourself.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I said before. You do not observe you. And observation
is
of you,
always outside.
observation of you is having much greater advantages. You will find, you will discover not only your specialties, you will discover the gaps and lacunae and possibilities of further evolution in you also. That's a beautiful point. Why human beings do not evolve is because they do not observe themselves. They are all trained to observe the other people. They are capable of identifying the defects of other people especially, or even the good of other people, the details of other people. When they say two things, you understand four things about them. Take a turn towards you. Introspection. That you anyway do, because there is a natural that is available tendency to observe the other things. So you evolve when you refine the available. When you do the new things. Observing the environment is the natural tendency of every entity. Okay? Every entity, even cats observe other people, other things in the environment. So because it is a survival process, how that survival process is utilized to observe the oneself, because they think that they are the end of it. They take themselves for granted, and that they are their self, they are their bodies, they are finished. I don't know. Nothing to observe in them. That is the fundamental evidence that everybody is taking themselves for granted. The leaders in the world, they do not observe them. They do not understand them. They do not reflect upon them. They do not focus on they do not focus their whatever so-called great analytical abilities on their own actions, their own ways of relating with other people, their language, their capacities, nothing. Which includes the top global leaders or institutional leaders, organizational leaders, family leaders, and every individual. A genius is not that. A mystic is not that. A mystic has learned about human beings, about existence, about the entire universe by observing him or her. Because you are the gate. You are the gateless gate to the entire universe, because you are an integral part of the universe. So if you want to understand the universe, you observe you. Thank you, Mia. Do that. And this entire program can be dedicated to this alone. Entire Genius in Self program can be dedicated to a single topic called observe yourself as a different entity. That is the only one evidence that you do not take you for granted.
So I have a few things I can think of. It's just that I'm not sure
Okay.
whether it's very
Okay.
appropriate. They're a little controversial specialities. So I don't know if it's appropriate to bring it up here.
That of course, come on.
I'll start with the less controversial
Okay.
specialty is I can communicate with animals.
Beautiful. One. We can go into the details of that for another 10 minutes, possibly, but we don't do it now, for example.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Two.
I can see a lot of things that normal people can't see.
Of course. That's all. Great competencies. Okay. 2, 3.
And maybe even career-wise, I'm one of maybe just 10 ballet dancers in the whole country.
Christabel, you're talking about this still maintaining an element of embarrassment. Okay. Just declare all these things. What was the third point?
Career-wise,
Yeah.
I'm one of just about 10 ballet dancers in the country.
Okay, beautiful. 4.
Also, like what
No. In connection with that, you have